Have you ever noticed that as you get smarter about money, you start hanging out with fewer people? Like, seriously, I used to have dozens of so called friends, but now I can count my real friends on one hand, and my bank account has never been healthier. Hi, I'm Andrew Meatrich, and I used to be that guy who said yes to every expensive dinner, every round of drinks, every shopping trip just to fit in. I was drowning in debt, stressed out of my mind, and too ashamed to even check my bank balance. But here's what I discovered: the people around you aren't just affecting your mood, they're literally programming your financial future. Today, I want to share why intelligent people naturally shrink their social circles as they build wealth, and why this might be the most important money lesson nobody talks about. We're going to dive into the psychology behind toxic financial friendships, how your brain gets hijacked by social spending, and the 5 powerful reasons why choosing solitude over shallow connections could be your secret weapon to financial freedom. Even if you think this topic doesn't apply to you right now, trust me, understanding this changed everything for me. It went from being broke and people pleasing to having real wealth and real relationships. If this resonates, hit that like button and subscribe, because the money psychology insights I share could literally change your life. Starting today. Let me tell you about my friend Sarah, or should I say my former friend Sarah. 3 years ago, we used to grab coffee every week. Sounds innocent, right? But Sarah had this habit. Every time I'd mention saving money or trying a new budget, she'd roll her eyes and say something like, Come on, Andrew, you only live once. Let's just get the fancy latte." It started with $15 coffee dates, then it became $40 brunches, then weekend shopping trips where I'd spend $200 on stuff I didn't need just because Sarah was buying something too. I called it friendship. My credit cards called it financial suicide. The breaking point came when I told her I was trying to pay off my debt and couldn't afford a weekend trip to Miami. Her response? "You're becoming so boring. Money isn't everything, you know." But here's the thing: when you're $20,000 in debt like I was, money actually is everything. That's when it hit me. Sarah wasn't just a friend who happened to spend money. She was someone whose entire identity was built around consuming, and she needed me to consume with her to feel normal about her own choices. I realized I had two options: keep drowning financially to maintain this friendship, or choose my future over her approval. And here's where most people get stuck. They think cutting ties with expensive friends makes them antisocial. But smart money people understand something crucial. Your social circle is actually an investment portfolio. And just like with money, quality beats quantity every single time. Think about it this way: would you rather have one stock that grows 10% every year, or 10 stocks that each lose 5%? Your friendships work the same way. That one friend who supports your financial goals, celebrates your wins, and doesn't make you feel guilty for being responsible? That person is worth more than 20 friends who pressure you to spend money you don't have. I used to think having tons of friends meant I was successful socially, but I was measuring the wrong thing. Real wealth, both financial and emotional, comes from deep, authentic relationships with people who want to see you win. When I shifted from collecting acquaintances to cultivating real friendships, something amazing happened. My expenses dropped dramatically because I wasn't constantly trying to keep up with everyone's lifestyle. Here's what I want you to do this week: audit your social spending. Look at your last 3 months of expenses and identify which purchases happened because of social pressure. That group dinner where you ordered wine you couldn't afford, the concert ticket you bought to fit in, add it up. I guarantee you'll be shocked at how much friendship is actually costing you. The smartest financial move isn't always about making more money. Sometimes it's about protecting the money you already have from the wrong people. Here's the second reason wealthy people shrink their circles. Their priorities evolve, and not everyone can handle that growth. I learned this lesson the hard way when I started getting serious about building wealth. I began waking up at 5 a.m. to work on side hustles. I started reading finance books instead of watching Netflix. I chose the gym over happy hour. And you know what happened? Some people in my life started treating me like I'd joined a cult. It's like that jar of pickles analogy. If you put a fresh cucumber in a jar of pickles, it becomes pickled too. But here's what nobody tells you: if you're trying to become the cucumber that doesn't get pickled, you need to get out of that jar entirely. When your priorities shift toward building wealth and improving your life, you naturally attract people who share those values. But you also naturally repel people who don't. That friend who always wants to eat out at expensive restaurants. If you start suggesting coffee at home instead, they'll probably stop calling. That's not a bug in the system. That's a feature. Your action step here is simple but powerful. Start suggesting low-cost or free activities when friends want to hang out, hiking instead of shopping, cooking dinner together instead of going to restaurants. The friends who stick around, those are your real friends. The ones who disappear, you just saved yourself thousands of dollars. The third reason is probably the most uncomfortable to hear, but it's crucial. As you get financially smarter, you start seeing through people's money manipulation tactics. You know that friend who always forgets their wallet when the check comes, or the one who suggests expensive activities but then acts shocked when you can't afford them. Smart people develop what I call financial X-ray vision. They start seeing these patterns everywhere. I remember the exact moment this clicked for me. I was out with a group, and one person suggested this upscale steakhouse. When I said it was out of my budget, they responded with, "Come on, don't be cheap. We'll split everything evenly." Classic manipulation. They're making their expensive choices your financial problem, then making you feel guilty about having boundaries. Here's what changed my life. I started saying exactly what I was thinking. I can't afford that restaurant, but I'd love to hang out somewhere that fits my budget. Some people respected that honesty. Others got uncomfortable and started avoiding me. Guess which group I'm better off without? The uncomfortable truth is that some people need you to be financially irresponsible because it makes them feel better about their own bad choices. When you start making smart money decisions, you become a mirror that reflects their own financial dysfunction. This week, practice being direct about your financial boundaries. Don't apologize for them, don't explain them, just state them clearly and watch who respects them. Here's what we've covered today. Smart people naturally shrink their social circles because they prioritize quality relationships over quantity. Their evolving priorities naturally filter out incompatible people, and they develop the ability to see through financial manipulation. But here's the most important part. This isn't about becoming antisocial or cutting everyone off. It's about being intentional with your relationships, the same way you're intentional with your money. The goal isn't to have no friends, it's to have the right friends. Your assignment starting right now, identify one relationship in your life that consistently pressures you to spend money you don't have. You don't need to cut them off dramatically, but start setting clear boundaries. Suggest lower cost alternatives. Be honest about your financial priorities. See how they respond. Remember, every dollar you don't spend on social pressure is a dollar that can work for you instead of against you. Building wealth isn't just about increasing your income. It's about protecting your income from people who don't have your best interests at heart. The most successful people I know didn't get there by being popular. They got there by being selective. Your future self will thank you for choosing financial freedom over social approval. Speaking of people who support your financial growth, that's exactly what we're building in this community. Next week, I'm breaking down the psychology behind why we self-sabotage our money goals even when we know better.